Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at a system that I think a lot of people, especially in India, are going to find really interesting.
Yeah, this should be a good one.
It's all about making your voice heard when it comes to government services, actually getting stuff done and making sure things run smoothly. Ever feel like you're hitting a wall trying to get something done with a government agency?
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there, right?
Like you just want things to work the way they should, but the system can be a bit of a maze sometimes.
Yeah.
And it can be super frustrating when you feel like your concerns are just disappearing into thin air.
Like no one's even listening.
Exactly. But here's the thing. In India, there's actually a system designed to address these very issues.
That's right. It's called CP-DRAMS, the Centralized Public Grievance Redress and Monitoring System.
And that's what we're going to deep dive into today. CP Drandas,
Oh.
what it is, how it works, and why it matters so much for citizens like you and me.
It's a powerful tool, honestly, not just for complaining, but for actually pushing for positive change.
So let's break it down. CPG grams, for those who are hearing this for the first time. What is it in a nutshell?
Okay, so imagine a direct line to the government where you can voice your concerns about any government service that's not meeting your expectations.
Okay. So it's kind of like an online complaint box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's way more than just a suggestion box because it's directly integrated into the government structure.
So it's not just sending an email and hoping for the
Cool.
best, right?
Every grievance that's filed through CTJAMS is given a unique registration number, so you can actually track its progress online.
Oh, okay. So you can see what's happening with your complaint.
Yeah. There are specific timelines in place for officials to respond. And if your issue isn't addressed within that time frame, guess what?
What? It magically disappears.
No, it actually gets escalated to higher authorities automatically.
Well, that's interesting. So it like forces the system to take action.
Exactly. That's a key feature of CPG's RAMs. It's designed to hold officials accountable.
Yeah, it's like having that extra push, making sure your voice is actually heard.
Yeah.
And does it actually work though? Like, do people actually see results?
Well, the data suggests it does. The reported resolution rate for grievances on CPG RAMs is really high, over 90%.
Wow, that's impressive. So it's not just a system where complaints go to die. People are actually getting their problem solved.
Right. And more importantly, it's empowering citizens to participate in making the system work better for everyone.
So let's get practical for a second. Walk us through how someone would actually use CPG DRAMs. Like, let's say I'm having trouble renewing my passport. What do I do?
Okay, so first things first. No need to actually rant into the void,
Okay.
although it can be tempting. But the CPDRAMS portal is actually pretty user-friendly. You just need to register with some basic information, and then you can lodge your grievance.
Okay, so tell them what's going on, basically.
Yeah, describe the issue you're facing and attach any relevant documents that you might have. And you also pick the right category for your grievance. That helps to get it to the right people faster.
Right, so they're not just, like, sending it to the wrong department.
Exactly. And once you submit it, bam, you get that unique registration number, and then you can start tracking the progress of your grievance online.
So no more endless phone calls or running around from office to office.
Ideally, yes. You can just check in on your complaint online and see what's happening with it.
That sounds pretty convenient, I've got to say. But I can imagine some people might still be skeptical, right?
Oh,
They
definitely.
might think, what's the point? What difference can my one complaint make?
It's a valid question, and I think that's where the idea of collective action comes in.
Yeah.
When lots of people are raising the same issue, it starts to paint a picture of a bigger problem that needs to be addressed.
Right, so it becomes harder to ignore.
Exactly. There was a time when there were tons of complaints about passport delays. People were waiting forever to get their passports. But because so many people started using CPDRAMs to report these delays, it forced the government to actually look into the issue and streamline the process.
Oh, wow. So the government actually took action based on the feedback they were getting through CPG RAMs.
They did. And now passports are issued much faster. So it's not just about fixing your individual problem. It's about contributing to making the system work better for everyone.
It's like a civic duty almost.
Yeah.
You know, speaking up through CPG RAMs helps to hold the government accountable and make sure that they're actually addressing the needs of the citizens.
Exactly. And if you think about it from the government's perspective, they actually benefit from this feedback loop. All these complaints are actually valuable data that helps them identify areas where services are falling short, and then they can actually do something to improve.
It's actually a pretty cool system when you think about it that way, right?
It is.
It's not just a one-way street of complaints. It's like a dialogue that can actually lead to positive change.
Absolutely. And it brings up a really important question, I think.
What's that?
How can we encourage more people to use platforms like CP but use them effectively? How do we spread awareness and make it just a natural part of civic engagement?
That's a great question. Food for thought for all of us, really. So, to wrap things up today, the key takeaway here is this. CP is a powerful tool for citizens to actively shape a more responsive and accountable government.
And by using it, we're not just getting our own individual issues resolved, we're contributing to building a system that works better for everyone.
Yeah. So, the next time you hit a snag with a government service, don't just grumble about it. Head over to CP lodge your grievance, and make your voice heard. It's easy to use, and you might be surprised by the impact that you can have. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of CP.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.